pops on. As I'm about a minute early. I haven't learned how to do any of the stuff like putting a countdown timer or anything yet. I had this all set up to had all the pages open on my phone, and then realised if I do a live, I can't actually show any of those screens because I don't know how to yet. So yeah, maybe I'll use my other old account that's under my name and just play around with it. Okay, that's about a minute, so it should be 9 o'clock now. So I'll just get started because I'll save this out as a video. Hopefully that works. Right, so Bitcoin has gone to 71,370. As I said in the short earlier, if anyone had seen it, it's pretty crazy considering yesterday we were at, and I'm just looking at it now, I'll show you in a second, 68,496. So it was a jump of 1,800-ish, which doesn't sound like much, but to push through that resistance, it's been there for that. We keep coming up to that point. We've been coming up to it for the last couple of months, and I just didn't expect it to happen. I thought because we were so close to the end of October that we would probably just stay down until after the US elections, because markets like certainty, and elections don't create certainty. It's like chaos essentially, because polls don't really tell you a whole lot, as much as we use them and try and deduce what is going to happen. But we'll have a look at the Bitcoin thing. I'll have to pick up the phone and show the computer like I used to in the old days, because as I said, I don't know how to screen share on my laptop. So here we are. Here's our Bitcoin for the day. We started down here, I'm going to guess about 18 hours ago, at 68,900, 496. Got all the way up here, and we're still building. By the looks of it, we were going back down. But we started heading back up again. We'll have a look at the other. So ETH's up 3.5 as well. For ETH fans, yep, that's starting to look pretty bullish, that chart. Where's Solana? Solana has not moved as much. Well, $10 move. I mean, if you own a fair few Solana, that would probably tickle your fancy, to get that in a day. Let's move to just the daily. This is what the daily looks by the size of the move in percentage. Hex is up, Doge is up, a few of the memes popping off as well, all of them generally. Ray's the only thing, no, Ray and Casper's down. Let's have a look at Casper. Oh, that's not a bad price. I wouldn't mind getting a little bit of Casper there. For those that don't know, the reason that I find Casper so interesting, actually I'll click back into it, we'll show it's going to year on this part. No, click out of it and then go. Casper has a market cap of 2.96 billion. As you can see, it had a very quick jump from 50 cents. It now sits at not 50 cents, 5 cents essentially, up to 19 cents. We're back down to 12. Turn the camera back. The reason I like Casper is because Casper is not on Coinbase or Binance yet. So it's just under 3 billion market cap. but it's not actually on the two biggest exchanges in the world, which is crazy. So I've picked up a little bit of Casper. I wouldn't mind a bit more, especially since it's moving the opposite of everything else at the moment, which is perfectly fine. Now, so I got some messages today from a guy that watches my channel, actually just saying the crypto market's gone crazy. What's the actual news? And the thing is, at the start, I couldn't find it. There wasn't a whole lot of news, but I did find some things that might be of interest. So we'll watch a quick video from Altcoin Daily. Well, some of it, we might not have, but that's one of the main things that happened is that it's a guy from VanEck. He has come out and said, well, I'll just let you listen to it. It's easier to just explain that.
Get advanced AI capabilities. For more customization,
skip the ad.
Bitcoin into the election. We saw the exact same pattern in 2020 where Bitcoin lagged with
I'll run it back.
What you think it's going to be a $100,000 asset soon, 200.
Yes.
VanEck's head of digital research, Matthew Siegel, just revealed Bitcoin's next 12 months. With 107.7 billion in assets under management, you have to believe that when VanEck's head of digital research says this about Bitcoin, hundreds of billions of dollars worth of capital is listening.
Our bet is that this is a very bullish setup for Bitcoin into the election. We saw the exact same pattern in 2020 where Bitcoin lagged with low volatility, and then once a winner was announced, we had a high vol rally as new buyers come into this market. And that's the great thing about Bitcoin, is that every day there's new buyers being born. It's kind of like the video game industry. The olds who hate it die off, the new folks are buying it. And what we think is that once the election result is finalized, Moody's is going to downgrade U.S. sovereign debt, and that could be a catalyst for Bitcoin.
Doesn't gold correlate with the dollar and with M2 as well? And gold and Bitcoin seemed like the correlation broke down a couple of times recently.
Bitcoin is a chameleon. Its correlations change over time. It's hard to predict what it's going to be correlated with over the short term, over the long term.
But you really say it's because of the 21 million and fixed amount is out there, therefore the debasement of the currency favors that. I mean, that's.
Yeah, it's a non-U.S. asset. It's an emerging markets asset. And while we were all hyperventilating about the election over the last week, BRICS had a conference in Russia. There's 6 new members of BRICS this year. So BRICS GDP is now greater than the combined GDP of G7. Of the 6 new members, 3 of them, Argentina, the UAE, and Ethiopia, are now mining Bitcoin with government resources. So there's tremendous urgency outside of the U.S. to find a way to circumvent the irresponsible fiscal policy that we've been running here in the U.S. In fact, Russia announced an initiative. Their sovereign wealth fund is going to invest in a regional initiative to build Bitcoin mining and AI infrastructure throughout BRICS, with an idea of settling global trade in Bitcoin. So someday, I don't know if it's 5 years, 10 years, Putin's going to die. We're going to look to reintegrate some of these countries into the world financial system, and they're going to be trading with Bitcoin. What are we going to be doing?
Okay. What? Yeah. Are you stunned?
No, I'm just processing.
You're processing.
Processing.
When will that be complete?
The processing?
Yes, so that you can make a comment.
When is Bitcoin going to be complete?
I have no idea. He sounds what you think it's going to be a $100,000 asset soon, 200.
Yes. The smallest ever trough to peak rally for a Bitcoin cycle was 2,000%. If we do half of that, that'd be 1,000%. That'd be roughly 180,000.
When does this all go down? Not down. When does this
When
happen?
did it all happen?
I think after the election will be a significant catalyst. You can see it front page of the Wall Street Journal talking about debt and deficit concerns.
Right.
Like Moody's is telegraphing this.
Right.
They want to downgrade sovereigns who
Where are you
have
compared to like
20
Kathy Woods?
What's that?
Where, like Kathy Wood? Where?
My old boss?
Yeah. How do you feel about her predictions?
I don't think about them very much.
I mean, do you think she's right? 500,000 is where she's at. by very soon.
We have a model that assumes that by 2050, this is very long term, that Bitcoin becomes a reserve asset that's used in global trade and held by global central banks at a very modest 2% weight. And in that model, we arrive at a $3 million price target for Bitcoin. Now, that sounds, extreme, but that's a 16% compound annual growth rate for a couple decades. That's not really.
All right, we got to the point where the message kind of gets across. So the head of Van Eck, which is one of the companies that's not quite as big as BlackRock, but it's up there. I think it's like fourth biggest. I can't remember off the top of my head. They're projecting in 25 years that one Bitcoin will be worth 3 million. Obviously, you have to take inflation into that, and because that's out of control. But meaning that's what a 25-year projection is. That's pretty low compared to some of the other projections. But yeah, if you can sort of hold a bit of Bitcoin. But so this is the biggest news that I've found that's come out in the last 12 hours or so, whenever it came out. That's not the only one. So I don't like the ones where I have to read them to you though. I'll read this one. So it's from Fortune, and it's about Hong Kong, the Hong Kong authorities. So I'll read it, and you'll just have to look at me. Hong Kong authorities expect to license more digital asset exchanges by the end of this year, so 2024, after completing a 5-month inspection period that has raised doubts about the prospect of further approvals. A finalised list of the platforms graduating from provisional permit to fully licensed will be published by year end, said Eric Yip, Executive Director for Intermediaries at the Securities and Futures Commission, in a speech at the annual FinTech Week event on Monday. The applicants and their controllers have, by and large, taken up our feedback and are willing to commit resources to rectify issues, to take long-term view in developing their businesses in a regulated environment, Yip said. So basically, they're just happy to do what they're told, the exchanges, and they will and they'll be given licenses after the 5 months that they've been sort of testing, essentially. All right, no, not that one. Sorry, I'm just looking. I've got so many tabs open. This is the one. Here's the fear and greed index for Bitcoin. So as you can see, today we're at 72. Last week we were here at 48, and last month was about 54. 72, you're starting to get pretty high. A lot of people start to think about taking profits when you get up over 70. 70, 80 is, that's if you're a short-term trader. So, and the RSI is, I think, just over 50. I cannot find it without going into an actual chart thing, which is far too complicated for the people that I'm aiming this video towards. I'm just learning about all the charting myself at the moment. So we've done the video, we've shown the bubbles, we've done that. I think that's about it. So, yeah, to wrap it all up, we've got the head of Van Eck coming out to talk. Actually, no, there is one more. Here we are. Bitcoin surges above 71,000. This is from CoinDesk. I was looking for the numbers for shorts. So a short is when essentially someone bets with leverage. It is what it's called, but they're essentially betting that Bitcoin will stay under a certain amount. And because 70,000 USD is like a round number, a lot of people will go, right, I'm going to bet that it will go down from 70,000, and the further down it goes, the more money you make. But the thing is, if it goes through 70,000, you've got to pay up essentially, and a lot to fill that spot. You've got to sort of buy Bitcoin. So you're wrecking their bet, so they lose their bet, and then they have to buy Bitcoin to sort of pay for it. Is probably the most layman's terms that I can find, that I can think of to explain it. Bitcoin added 5% in the past 24 hours. CoinGecko's data shows breaking out of the key 70,000 resistance with 48 billion in trading volumes, or nearly doubled the volume from Monday. Where did I see? Oh, here it is. With 5% increase, that led to significant trading volume and the liquidation of over $143 million in short positions. So $143 million was lost. The rally was partially driven by whale activity on Binance and substantial inflows into the Bitcoin ETFs. So the ETFs were taking in more money, probably mainly BlackRock's, and the other Grayscale probably would be the main ones. It doesn't say here, I don't think. There was a net increase of 47,000 Bitcoin in the last 2 weeks. The surge influenced by the upcoming elections, with traders betting on bullish market conditions regardless of the outcome. I do kind of disagree with that, and I'll show you why. That it doesn't matter who wins. It is Polymarket. We'll go to Polymarket. Which is a crypto betting site, and I don't know how to go down on it. Anyway, so Donald Trump is paying in the poly markets here. So Donald Trump is over 60% chance of winning again. The reason that I think it will matter who wins as far as your crypto goes and which way it goes will be that a lot of influencers are saying it doesn't matter who wins, right? It's going to go up anyway. But if the betting says that Donald Trump's going to win, and the betting on this site in particular, as it's a crypto betting platform, that's going to be done primarily by crypto holders, supporters, all that type of thing. Oh, here's the Trump's numbers here, and Camilla. So Trump is 66%. That's where he's up to on this. And Kamala Harris is 33.9. So if Kamala Harris wins, surely crypto markets aren't going to expect that. There's only about a third of them that will actually expect that to happen. So, as I've said earlier in this video, crypto markets like certainty, all markets like certainty, it doesn't matter what market you're in, they get spooked easily. Something bad happens, they get spooked. So, if Kamala Harris wins, I think there's a good chance that we have a quick flash crash. Just from my thoughts, like obviously we have no idea, but I'm just thinking we have a flash crash and then we build up to take back up and go to where we were headed, which won't be as high as Donald Trump, in my opinion, because Kamala Harris at the moment is seen to be not as pro-crypto, as she's never come out and verbally said anything about it. She's had papers put out by her campaign, but yeah, so as far as crypto goes, if Donald Trump wins, we go to the moon. If Donald Trump loses, I think we have a flash crash, and then we take off. But it won't be as aggressive, and we'll just have to see what happens. And there was one more thing that I've just remembered off. This one I don't have where I got it from. So another thing that will be bullish, and it's as far as inflation goes, over in the war in the Middle East, Israel has deliberately not bombed Iran's oil refinery or oil, where they make oil. I'm not exactly sure what it was called, but one of the oil areas, they have deliberately missed it and have not bombed it. So I imagine, I don't imagine. So the forecast for oil, it's for what they expect it to be at going forwards. It's actually dropped in value. So they were expecting it to be worth, say, $78 a barrel for the next, by the end of the year or whatever. They've actually brought down what they think it's going to cost, which affects inflation, because oil is basically what a lot of the inflation stuff is calculated on. So if oil costs less, inflation's not as rampant, which is what, and then so if there's inflation's not as bad, it means investors can move more money into risk assets because they're not worrying about inflation, stuff like that. Anyway, I think that'll about do. I meant for this to go for 10-15 minutes, and we are now at 22 minutes nearly. So thanks for the couple of people that have been flicking in and out and watching. Great to have a couple of people watching. Press the like button if you think it was useful and you want to spread it around to other people. Send it to other people if you know anybody that's been asking about why is Bitcoin taken off today, why crypto's taken off. I've done my best to explain it in a really basic level. Have a great evening. Do something nice for someone else. Crypto Bogan out. Sure.